In this WrestleTalk news, one of AEW's biggest stars could be leaving the company. WWE are delighted with how Raw 30 went. Some former WWE stars are less than delighted with how Raw 30 went, and so much more. So subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
Another day, another whisper about contracts in AEW and when/if they might be up soon. And this time we're talking about one of AEW's biggest stars in terms of sheer mass. Because last year there was a brief period where it looked like Brian Cage might be done with the company, having been off of TV for quite a few months as his contract with the company came up around the same time. Now, at the time, Cage was said to be pleasantly surprised when AEW higher-ups triggered the option to extend his contract for another year, and in that time he's got a better showing with sporadic appearances across Dynamite and Rampage and putting in more of a shift on the Ring of Honor side of the business. But a year goes by quick these days, quicker in the past few years. I blinked in 2019 and now it's 2023, and that means that Cage's contract is now up again. This all comes from a report from Fightful Select, which claims that Cage's contract is set to expire in the coming weeks unless he can come to an agreement on a new deal with AEW. At the minute, that would maybe be wise considering he is currently an ROH six-man tag team champion alongside Gates of Agony as the Embassy. Now, Cage debuted for that brand back in April last year at Supercard of Honor before winning the six-man titles at December's Final Battle. And while he's doing better in Khan's company, there has reportedly been some interest from the other side of the fence. According to Fightful, feelers have been sent out to WWE to gauge the company's interest in bringing in the Swolverine, though it's unknown whether there actually is any interest from either side. They're just feeling each other out at the moment. I mean, if WWE did get him, they'd have to use him though, because you can't have that man sat in catering. You'd be out of chicken and rice in a day. Maybe it is a good time to approach WWE though, because the company are currently riding high on the success of Monday's Raw is 30 episode and the reliable nostalgia pops as a load of legends came to play. And you might want to pop on your rose-tinted reading glasses once more to get a load of the viewing figures for Monday's show. Because Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reported that Raw averaged 2,344,000 viewers across its 3-hour runtime, with 908,000 of those being in that delicious 18 to 49 demo that advertisers love, that high-value merchandise. Yeah, I've been watching and reading The Promised Neverland this week. This all sounds a lot like Demon Talk to me. Thurston suggested that the commercial-free first hour of the show would have also likely discouraged channel surfing, keeping those viewing figures high for the runtime. And it's good news for WWE, delicious for Demons, and doubly good for WWE because according to Thurston, the total viewership is the highest since February 17th, 2020, and it's the best key demo number, a 0.70, since April the 6th, 2020. So it's now been just over a week since the wrestling world learned of the tragic passing of ROH Tag Team Champion Jay Briscoe at the age of just 38. And there has understandably been a huge outpouring of love from the wrestling community for the Briscoe family, and thankfully there has also been a lot of positive news regarding the conditions of Jay's daughters Gracie and Jay Lee, both of whom were in the car at the time of the tragic accident. While there has been so much support shown for Jay's family, it's fair to say that there is also an equal outpouring of anger towards Warner Bros. Discovery, the company which owns TBS, the channel which airs AEW. Because neither of the Briscoe brothers have been allowed to wrestle for AEW shows, which is said to be due to some homophobic comments made by Jay several years ago, something the vast majority of people say that Jay has since atoned for many times over. Now, according to reports last week, Tony Khan and co wanted to make last week's AEW Dynamite a Jay Briscoe tribute show, but Warner Bros. Discovery blocked this plan as they still did not want any focus on the Briscoes. Thankfully, the company has seemingly changed its mind, with Dave Meltzer confirming that AEW was now allowed to use Mark Briscoe on upcoming shows, and also that AEW will be able to honor Jay Briscoe on tonight's episode of Dynamite. AEW has already capitalized on Warner Bros. Discovery's change of heart and have booked Mark Briscoe in a match against former ROH World Champion Jay Lethal. It'll be Mark's AEW debut and his first match since his brother's passing. Speaking on the Battleground podcast, AEW president Tony Khan revealed it was Mark and Jay Lethal who requested the match. It's going to be a great match to honor a great man. These two men requested this match as Wednesday would be the 39th birthday of the late, great Jay Briscoe. His longtime friend and rival Jay Lethal and his brother Mark Briscoe wanted to have this match to honor the legacy of Jay Briscoe and I fought hard to make it happen, and I'm really excited about the match. While Mark himself is yet to make a public statement since the death of his brother, family friend Josh Wharton spoke on a Facebook live stream about the continuing improvement of the condition of Jay's daughters and noted that he had spoken to Mark on the phone. Wharton noted the incredible resilience of Mark so soon after losing his brother and how Mark's faith has remained strong despite the tragedy, wishing them all the best. Now we're sticking with AEW, and the famously outspoken Dax Harwood has claimed that he was paid bottom dollar by WWE during his main roster run with the company. Speaking on the FTR podcast, Dax said that while he couldn't speak for tag partner Cash Wheeler, he at least felt that he was paid very little in relation to other main roster stars. He said, "Our contracts were the very bottom dollar. I'll tell you mine, I don't know about Cash's, but our first contract for the main roster was $125,000, $150,000, $175,000 across the 3 years, and that was it, you know." And now, while to most of us it would be lovely to be paid that much, you have to take into account that hotel, food, and travel expenses are all paid for by the wrestlers themselves. WWE stars are typically on the road 4 to 5 times a week, depending on the house show schedule, so those numbers do actually start to add up. I mean, imagine working for a company where $175,000 a year was the bottom dollar. Now, while Raw 30 is being hailed as a huge success for WWE, it's fair to say that not everyone was entirely thrilled with the show, with arguably the two most vocal critics being former Divas champions, the Bella Twins. Luke noted in yesterday's news video that the Bellas had decided not to be on the show, and in a new update, the Twins have claimed WWE never had plans for them, so they didn't feel like there would be much point in showing up. Speaking on Instagram Live, Nikki Bella revealed the sisters had been hoping to appear on the show, especially as the pair are currently promoting their new reality show. Nikki Bella says, "I do." Nikki appeared to be trying to play down any reports of heat between herself, Brie, and WWE, and is now often the way of things. Did her best to kind of blame wrestling media for misleading everyone, because we just lie. I'm gonna level with you guys. I don't care enough to lie. I don't care. Despite trying to play down the reports of heat, Nikki, who shortly after Raw 30 had blasted WWE for not using enough women on the show, thanked fans for their support of women's wrestling. She said, "I love the fans for sticking up for women. There are so many crybabies. Oh, they just whine. Let me tell you why people get upset. This is speaking on behalf of the majority of women. Oh, they always make it about themselves. No, just because we speak up, we're not making it about ourselves. It's about the women from the very beginning to the ones that are there. I understand why so many people are upset, especially our fans, when it's something like Raw 30. She then went on to name the stars who made her a wrestling fan, like Beth Phoenix, Candice Michelle, Melina, and Mickie James, which was perhaps a suggestion as to who WWE could have had on their show if they were trying to show the whole breadth of people who had made Raw a thing. As we saw on Monday night, the only real women's legend on the show was Alundra Blaze, who was seen playing poker backstage. What a way to highlight women's wrestling and its contribution to Raw. It is interesting to note that while Nikki and Brie claim WWE never had plans for them to be at the show, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select claims that WWE did have plans, but an audible was called after the twins failed to show up at the taping. Now, if Sean's report is accurate, it won't have been the only women's segment cancelled at the last minute, as it's been widely reported that Becky Lynch's steel cage match with Bayley was dropped from the show due to Sami Zayn's tribal court segment going long. Sticking with the subject of popular women's wrestlers who have heat with WWE, kind of, it seems that everyone and their mums wants Mercedes Mone, the former Sasha Banks, in their wrestling company. Because Mone is set to make her return to the ring at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley on February the 18th against another former WWE star, Kairi Sane, who is the current IWGP Women's Champion. However, Dave Meltzer has noted previously that Mone is only scheduled to have a few matches in NJPW, and where she goes after that is pretty much anyone's guess. One guess, or hope rather, comes from Mickie James, who has made it very clear that she would love to see Mone in Impact Wrestling. Speaking to Ella J of SE Scoops, James said, "I'm excited for her. The world is her oyster. She can literally do whatever she wants. I think any company would benefit from having her on their roster. I've never had a singles match with Sasha. I would really, really love to have a singles match with Mercedes. I love her. I have so much love and respect for her. I think she's incredible. She can go test herself against whoever she wants to and show up everywhere. That's what I hope. She shows up everywhere. Come on over to Impact. Come on down." Many still expect Mercedes to show up in AEW once her run with NJPW finishes. If only AEW had some kind of money-related pay-per-view in May. If only.
Most women's eliminations
in men's rumble.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not in the women's at all.
That Gallows storyline going. Returns in Rumble.
Not in Rumble. Enjoys nice catering.
Gunther mid-air elimination. Like slaps him out of the air.
Over that. Flips Braun over.